Hey, James, you got voted a captain this year. How important was that to you? How special was that?
That was pretty cool. I mean, very cool. It's a huge honor to be included with some greats that I've had the opportunity to play with for 10 seasons now, and most of them for 10 seasons. And so, that was a very cool thing when I heard that I was voted team captain, and getting to share the stage with these guys on opening night, walk across the stage. I mean, that's incredible. It's a dream come true, and it's a great honor.
I kind of wanted to ask you about that exactly. It's just what was opening night for you and being on that stage and seeing the scene?
Well, it's our fifth time I say fourth time. We didn't do it, the COVID year against Tampa. But that night's always special, I mean, everybody talks about the interviews and the funny questions and things like that, but typically you're in the stadium, or at least in a venue that's set up with Super Bowl all over the wall. You get to see the logo everywhere, and to walk out as a team, you get to get announced as the AFC champions. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, that's amazing, right? I mean, as a competitor, that's why you do what we do, right? I mean, is to play in these games, to have these opportunities, and so just very thankful for it.
You did have a funny moment as a captain that first game against the Texans when you forgot you had to go in for the coin toss.
Yeah. I got a little bit locked into what I was doing, tunnel vision for those games, you're just ready for that kickoff. You got the pregame juices flowing, and I always run over to the sideline and get a couple snaps right before the captains go out for the coin toss while they're going out. And I forgot I was a captain there. So about the time I set the ball down to snap, I looked up and I'm like, man, I think I need to be over there. And I see Harrison waving, and so I took off running. Thankfully, I made it on time. Didn't feel too bad because the next week against in the championship game, Bolton was late coming out, so I didn't feel too bad. I wasn't as late as him. So
you and Travis are the longest tenured players on this team.
Yeah.
When you go back and you think, because it was 2015 when you were in camp and competing against Andrew East for that long snapping job.
Yeah.
What do you remember about that?
I mean, I remember it well. It was the start of an opportunity, and or a potential opportunity, right? Anytime you're competing, you're never a shoe-in, right? And you always you just want an opportunity. You want an opportunity to make the team, and thankfully they gave me a shot, and but you would think you'd have a moment of kind of like I've made it, like looking at that opportunity before I was there in the moment, you'd think like, hey, here we are, we got it. Well, there was never really a I made it moment, because then you have to compete and keep your job every week, right? And I'll never forget the opening week in 2015. We played the Houston Texans, and there was a couple guys, David Clowney and J.J. Watt, that were in the A-gaps on punt team for whatever reason, like they were on the punt return team. And so that was my opening first game in the NFL, and so it's like life comes at you quick, right? And so there was never a moment of like, hey, I'm going to celebrate. It was like, no, how do I get better? How can I be better at my job for holder, for kicker, for punter? And so just never stopped trying to perfect my craft. And by the grace of God, here we are, the 5th Super Bowl 10 years later. It's been an absolute dream come true.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Were you with the Eagles at one point?
I was, yeah.
That's what I thought, yeah.
The Eagles, kind of a cool deal. The Eagles actually gave me my very first opportunity in 2013. I was watching a preseason game. My buddy Lane Johnson was playing in his first preseason game, and John Dorenbos, their long snapper, had a concussion in the game, and so he left the game, and I'm watching the game. So I called my agent, called Lane, and so when Lane got back to the locker room, he told him, hey, and I had worked out for the Eagles in the spring. I was with Lane, and so they had me on tape. So Lane told the special teams coach, and then my agent called and said, hey, you're going to be on a plane tomorrow going to Philly. And so I had the opportunity to play in 2 preseason games with them, and that was the first time ever wearing an NFL uniform was at Lincoln Financial in Philadelphia. And so there's always a soft spot in my heart for them, and your first opportunity in the NFL is very, very special, and that was kind of what catapulted me forward and allowed me to go, hey, I can do this. I can play with these guys, and then obviously I wish I could take credit for the rest, but just following in Kansas City and being there, I mean, it's been incredible. It really is. I mean, it's a dream come true, and it's hard to fathom, how it all lined up.
You're a Chiefs through and through now, though.
I am, absolutely. Oh yeah, we bleed red, baby. I mean, it's all the way. So, absolutely.
Right. I have to ask the same question that Travis gets. How many more years you got?
Man, well, we're rolling right now, and this is a special organization, a special team. Having the opportunity to play with Hall of Fame coaches, play for Hall of Fame coaches, and with Hall of Famers, future. I mean, it's unreal, and I've had the opportunity to be with Travis and Pat and Harrison and these guys, Chris, for a long time. And I think it's one of those things you just evaluate after every season. And at my age, you sign 1 year every year, which falls in line with that. Hey, evaluate it after every season to keep going. But feeling great now and still snapping. And we'll decide that after the season.